this message found you. It may not be random. There's something quiet about this moment, something almost hidden. And for some reason, you're still here listening. Maybe that's not a coincidence. There are times in life when things don't break loudly. They shift silently. No alarms, no clear signs. Just a feeling deep inside you that something is changing. You may have felt it recently, a strange pull, a sense that you don't fully belong where you are anymore, or that the world around you feels slightly off. Not wrong, just different. Stay with me, because this part matters more than you think, and there are people who move through life without ever noticing these moments. They brush them aside. They distract themselves. They ignore the quiet signals, but you didn't. You paused, you listened, and somehow you ended up here. That says something. You might not fully understand it yet, but something within you is waking up. Not in a dramatic, overwhelming way, but gently, like a light turning on in a room you didn't know existed. You may have noticed changes in how you feel around others. Conversations that once felt normal now seem draining. Places that once felt familiar now feel distant. It's not that anything is wrong with those things, it's just that you are changing. And when you change, your world begins to feel different too. There's a reason for that. Sometimes guidance doesn't come as a loud voice. It comes as a feeling, a quiet knowing, a subtle shift in your awareness. And right now, you might be standing at one of those shifts. Not the kind that forces you, but the kind that invites you. You may feel it in small ways, a thought that repeats itself, a memory that keeps returning, a question that doesn't leave you alone. What am I meant to do next? Don't rush past that question. Sit with it, because the answer isn't outside you. It's forming within you. Slowly. You don't need to figure everything out today. That's not what this moment is asking of you. It's asking you to notice, to pay attention, to trust that something is unfolding, even if you can't see the full picture yet. Stay with me, because this part is important. There are times when life begins to redirect you before you even realize it. It doesn't always feel good at first. Sometimes it feels like confusion or distance or even loneliness. But that doesn't mean you're being left behind. It may mean you're being guided forward, and not everyone will understand that. Some people will expect you to stay the same, to think the same, to move the same way you always have. But something inside you is no longer comfortable doing that. And that discomfort is not a problem. It's a signal, a quiet nudge that says, you're ready for something more. You don't need to define what that more is yet. And just recognize the feeling, because ignoring it will only make it louder, and listening to it will slowly make things clearer. You might also notice that your intuition feels stronger lately. Little moments where you just know something without being able to explain why. That's not something to dismiss. That's something to observe, because when you begin to trust that inner voice, life starts guiding you in ways that logic alone cannot. You won't always understand it immediately, but later, you'll look back and realize it was leading you somewhere important. There's something else you may have felt, a sense of being watched over in a quiet, comforting way, not in a dramatic or overwhelming sense, but in a calm, steady presence, as if you're not entirely alone, even when you feel like you are. That feeling isn't there by accident. Some people call it intuition. Some call it higher awareness. Some see it as guidance. You don't need to label it. You just need to notice it. Because the more you notice it, the more it becomes real in your experience. Stay with me, like we're getting closer to something important. There's a reason why this message feels personal, why it feels like it's speaking directly to you. It's not because you're being singled out in a dramatic way. It's because your awareness is opening. And when that happens, you begin to see meaning in places where others see nothing. You begin to feel depth where others feel surface. And that can feel isolating sometimes. But it also means you're growing. Growth doesn't always feel comfortable. In fact, most of the time, it feels like uncertainty, like you're standing between who you were and who you're becoming. And that space in between can feel confusing. But it's also where transformation happens. You don't need to rush out of it. You don't need to force clarity. Clarity comes when you stop resisting the process. Let me say that again because it matters. Clarity doesn't come from forcing answers. It comes from allowing understanding to unfold. And right now, things may be unfolding for you, slowly, quietly, but surely. You might have also noticed certain things leaving your life, people becoming distant, situations changing unexpectedly, plans not working out the way you expected. At first, it may feel frustrating or even disappointing, but sometimes what leaves is making space for what's meant to arrive. And if everything stayed the same, there would be no room for anything new. That doesn't mean loss is easy, but it does mean it may have purpose, and you don't have to see that purpose right away, and you just have to trust that it exists. If this resonates with you, you can quietly acknowledge it. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Even something as simple as a thought or a small amen within yourself is enough. Because this isn't about performance, it's about awareness. Now, here's something many people overlook. When you begin to change internally, your external world doesn't instantly adjust. There's a delay, a space where you feel different, but everything around you looks the same. That space can feel uncomfortable, but it's temporary, because eventually your outer world begins to reflect your inner shifts. And when that happens, things start aligning in ways you didn't expect. Opportunities appear. Conversations change. Paths open. Not because of luck, but because you're no longer the same person you were before. And that matters more than you realize. And should you stay with me just a little longer, because there's something deeper here. You may have been questioning yourself lately, wondering if you're on the right path, if you're making the right choices. If you're missing something important, those questions are not a sign of failure. They're a sign of awareness. People who never question rarely grow, but people who reflect begin to see things others miss. And you're starting to see, even if it's not fully clear yet. There's also something else happening quietly. You're becoming more selective with your time, with your energy, with who you allow into your space. That's not selfish. That's alignment, because not everything deserves access to you. And not everyone is meant to stay in every chapter of your life. Some people are part of your past, some are part of your present, and a few are meant for your future. Learning the difference is part of your growth. You don't have to push anyone away, but you also don't have to hold on to what no longer feels right. Let things be what they are and allow yourself to move forward without guilt, because moving forward doesn't mean you're leaving everything behind. It means you're evolving, and evolution is natural. There's a calm strength building inside you. You may not notice it every day, but it's there in the way you think, in the way you respond, in the way you're starting to understand yourself. And that strength will guide you through what's coming next. You don't need to fear what's ahead, because you're not the same person you were before. You're more aware, more grounded, more connected to something deeper. And that makes a difference. In the coming days, you may notice small signs, not dramatic ones, but subtle ones. A conversation that feels meaningful, a moment of clarity, a feeling of calm where there used to be confusion. Pay attention to those moments. They matter, because they're showing you that you're moving in the right direction. You don't need everything to make sense at once. You just need to keep noticing, keep listening, keep trusting that inner voice, even when it's quiet, because it's guiding you step by step. Not all at once, but enough to keep you moving forward. And that's all you need. If this message felt like it was meant for you, you can hold on to that feeling. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to justify it. Just recognize it. And if you feel called, you can subscribe to messages like this, not out of need, but out of alignment. Because sometimes the right words find you at the right time. And today, this may have been one of those moments. Whatever you're going through, remember this. You are not lost. You are in transition, and transitions lead to new beginnings. Even if you can't see them yet, stay aware, stay open, and trust that something meaningful is unfolding in your life right now. And as you continue forward, something subtle begins to settle inside you. Not answers, not complete clarity, but a quiet sense that you're not moving blindly anymore. There's a difference between being lost and being in the middle of becoming. And right now, you may be closer to becoming than you realize. Stay with me, because this part often gets overlooked. You don't always notice growth while it's happening. It's not loud. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't ask for attention. It just slowly changes you in the way you pause before reacting, in the way you choose peace over chaos, in the way you start letting go of things that once controlled you. That's growth. And even if no one else sees it, it's shaping your path in ways you'll understand later. There may also be moments where you feel pulled backward. Old habits, old thoughts, old emotions trying to return. That doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're aware enough to notice them now. Before, they may have controlled you without you realizing. Now, you see them. And that changes everything, because once you see something clearly, it loses its power to control you the same way. You don't need to fight every thought. You don't need to resist every feeling. Just observe and gently choose what aligns with who you're becoming. That's how change happens. Not through force, but through awareness. There's something else you may begin to notice. Moments of stillness that feel different. Not empty. Not quiet in a lonely way, but peaceful. As if for a brief second, everything inside you is in the right place. Those moments matter because they show you what alignment feels like. And once you felt that, you begin to recognize what doesn't match it. That's how your inner guidance becomes clearer, not through instructions, but through contrast, what feels right and what doesn't. You don't have to overthink it. Your body already knows. Your mind just needs to catch up. Stay with me, and we're moving deeper now. There may be something you've been holding on to, a question, a situation, a decision you've been delaying, not because you don't care, but because something doesn't feel fully right yet. That hesitation is worth paying attention to, because sometimes delay is not avoidance. Sometimes it's protection. It's your awareness telling you, not yet. And trusting that timing can save you from unnecessary confusion. You don't need to rush into every decision. You don't need to have everything figured out immediately. What's meant for you will not require you to betray your sense of peace. Let that sink in. If something feels forced, it may not be aligned. If something feels heavy, it may not be yours to carry. And if something feels calm, even if it's uncertain, it may be worth exploring. There's a quiet strength in choosing peace, even when the world around you is loud, even when others don't understand your choices, even when it would be easier to follow what's familiar. But you're not here to stay the same. You're here to grow into something deeper. And growth requires change, not all at once, not in a way that overwhelms you, but step by step, choice by choice, moment by moment. You're not expected to become a completely different person overnight. You're simply being invited to become more of who you truly are, and that process is already happening. You may not see the full picture yet, but pieces are coming together in ways you can't always predict. That's why trust matters, not blind trust, but quiet trust, the kind that doesn't demand immediate proof, the kind that says, I don't see it yet, but I feel it. And sometimes feeling is enough. There may be people around you who won't understand this shift. They may question you. They may doubt you. They may even try to pull you back into who you used to be, not because they want to harm you, but because your growth challenges their comfort. And that's okay. You don't need to argue. You don't need to explain everything. Just continue moving in the direction that feels right to you, because your path is yours, not theirs. And not everyone is meant to walk it with you. That doesn't make them wrong. It just means your journeys are different, and that's part of life. There's something else you may begin to notice soon, a sense of clarity in small, unexpected ways. Not a full roadmap, but little moments where things just make sense. A decision becomes easier. A thought becomes clearer. A feeling becomes lighter. Those are signs, not loud ones, but real ones. They show you that you're aligning with something deeper, something steady, something that doesn't depend on external noise. And the more you notice those moments, the more they grow, because attention strengthens awareness, and awareness strengthens direction. Stay with me about just a little more, because this next part may matter more than you expect. There's a version of you that you haven't fully stepped into yet. Not because you can't, but because you're still releasing what no longer fits. That version of you is not far away. It's forming right now. In your thoughts, in your choices, in the way you're starting to see things differently. You don't need to chase it. You don't need to force it. You just need to allow it. And that happens when you stop trying to hold on to what you've already outgrown. Letting go doesn't mean losing. It means making space. And space is where new things enter, new perspectives, new opportunities, new connections. But they can only enter if there's room for them. So if something is leaving your life right now or starting to fade, pause before you resist it. Ask yourself, is this being taken from me, or is something making space for me? That question alone can change how you see everything. You're not being pushed backward. You're being prepared. Prepared for something that requires a different version of you, a version that's more aware, more grounded, more aligned, and you're already becoming that version. Even if it doesn't feel complete yet, you're closer than you think. In the coming days, you may feel moments of doubt again. That's normal. Growth doesn't remove doubt completely. It just changes how you respond to it. Instead of letting it control you, you begin to observe it. You begin to question it. And eventually, you move through it. That's strength, not the absence of doubt, but the ability to continue despite it. And you have that ability. It's already within you. You've just started to notice it. So as you move forward from this moment, you don't need to rush. You don't need to force clarity. You don't need to have all the answers. Just stay aware, stay open, and most importantly, stay connected to that quiet inner knowing, because it's guiding you, even when you don't fully understand how. If this message felt like it reached you at the right time, hold on to that feeling. You don't need to explain it. You don't need to prove it. Just let it sit with you. And if you feel called to, you can leave a simple amen in your own way, not for anyone else, but as a moment of acknowledgement within yourself. And if you want to continue receiving messages like this, you can subscribe, not because you need guidance, but because you recognize it when it appears. Because sometimes the right message finds you right when you're ready to hear it. And this moment may be one of those times. Whatever is unfolding in your life right now, trust that it has meaning, even if that meaning isn't clear yet. Even if it takes time, you're not behind, you're not stuck. You are in motion, quiet, steady, intentional motion, and that is enough. Keep going gently, patiently, with awareness, because something within you is already leading the way. And as you leave this moment, don't rush back into the noise too quickly. Carry this quiet awareness with you. Let it stay in the background of your day, guiding you in small, almost invisible ways. You don't need to figure everything out tonight. Just notice what feels right and what doesn't. If this message stayed with you even a little, that's enough. You can simply pause, take a breath, and acknowledge it in your own way. And if it truly resonated, you can comment, "Amen," not for me, but as a signal to yourself that something inside you is waking up. If you want more messages like this, you can subscribe and stay connected, only if it feels right. For now, trust this. Something is shifting in your life, not loudly, but meaningfully, and you're exactly where you need to be to receive it.